Hey folks, last night I posted a poll in our Facebook group and asked some questions about DTF transfers, direct to film transfers. These are heat pressable transfers if you don't know what those are. Don't look up the Urban Dictionary definition of DTF, direct to film, for this video, okay? And so we're going to talk about some of those. We're going to do a series of videos here, so stick around. We'll be right back to talk about this stuff. Okay, first of all, direct to film transfers, DTF transfers. What are they? How do they work? We'll start with the basics here. So this is a printed transfer. It's not printed on like a paper or a laser paper or an inkjet paper or anything like that. It is ink. And this clear film goes through a printer and it prints the image upside down. So it's printing the front of the image onto the film. So when it comes out, it's upside down, and when you flip it over, you would be looking at this. This is a DTF transfer. And as it goes through the printer, it prints the color and the image, and then it goes through under second set of print heads while it's doing this, and the printer prints a layer of white ink behind the image. And the reason it does this is to give it opacity so that it will keep it bright and you can apply it to any color garment. I've mentioned in the past why some HTV has white on the back of it, like a bright red or something like that. That's to keep it nice and bright. So if you apply that to a black shirt, it doesn't cause the image to get darker. It's opacity, okay? If a screen printer is printing, making shirts or garments, and the garment is anything other than white, the first thing they do is put down a layer of white ink to give it opacity. It's a base layer. So it prints the color, puts a layer of white ink on it. By the way, if it's done correctly, there should be an inset. When I look at the back of that image, there'll be like a little border around it where the white ink is printed just a little bit smaller than the image itself, so that when you apply it to a garment, you should see minimal or no white around the edges of it. And after it prints the white layer, it goes through a shaker oven. It sprinkles powder on it. It vibrates the film so that the excess powder falls off, and then it goes through an oven, which cures the transfer and the powder into an adhesive. And when it comes out, it can be heat pressed right then, straight out of the printer, and it is ready to go. Every garment decoration method has its own limitations. Sublimation has to have it has the polyester factor and opacity, needing a lighter white garment. Screen printing, if you're going to print 10 or 20,000 shirts, that's one thing. If you're going to do 5, it's probably not the best, most efficient method to do it. Setup fees, things of that nature. So DTF kind of takes the best of all of that and puts it together. It still has some limitations, but overall can do a wonderful job. You can literally print a photograph and put it on a garment, and it will look just like it's printed on a piece of photo paper or something. They're that good of quality. Now when you press and apply our DTF transfers, you can apply them at a range of temperatures, and for your basic cotton, polyester, cotton poly blends, 310 for 12 to 15 seconds is great. And then after you peel it hot, being 3 or 4 seconds after you press it. Peel that film off, peel it, watch the edges, make sure you've got it does have to cool for just a couple seconds. The colder it is, the better it peels. So if it's a hot peel film, you can peel it hot or cold. But the cooler it is, the easier it peels. But like I said, if you're doing 100 shirts, that's if you waited for them to all cool down, it would take you a long time. But the hot peel film gives you that advantage of 4 or 5 seconds after you press it, you can peel it right off. If you are pressing something that's heat sensitive, rayon, tri-blend shirts, nylon actually has a really high melting temperature, but a lot of times there's a coating or something on the surface of the nylon that you can damage, similar to, or gloss it, kind of like a tri-blend, a dark color tri-blend. When you scorch it and it kind of gets glossy. So those things can be pressed as low as like 285. I've done a lot at 285 with no problems at all. What I recommend is that second press with parchment paper. You let it cool completely after you peel it. You can peel it hot, but let the garment cool completely if it's a tri-blend or something, and then do that second press with parchment paper for just 2 or 3 seconds. With cotton and polyester and everything, that 310, 12 to 15 seconds, then a 4 or 5 second press with parchment paper, not a Teflon sheet or PTFE sheet, parchment paper. The reason is Teflon tends to make it glossy, and parchment paper will help remove any gloss that's left behind. Typically, our transfers are very, very matte finish. We've gone through several revisions of testing different films and everything. I bought film from one company and it didn't even say if it was glossy or matte, and they couldn't even tell me which it was supposed to be, and it was glossy. Really glossy. I have one in front of me here. If you look at it, you can see a little bit of gloss on it. This is the very first film we tried. It's not too bad, but this one is entirely matte finish. So the film we use now and have settled on is a hot peel, completely matte finish, very minimal gloss or shine to it, very thin and soft, wonderful. Very happy with that. And you guys know me, I was a stickler for quality. It took me a long time to get to this point and arrive at the conclusion of which pieces were best for this. And everybody asks us, how durable are they? They're very durable. They're very stretchy, for one thing. I can stretch, they don't crack. I took a shirt that I put a transfer on, and I stretched it to where it damaged the material. The material started to stretch out of shape and rip and pull the threads, but the transfer never cracked. And then here's a picture of one where I put the transfer in 100% bleach for 24 hours, and you see that it ate away the t-shirt behind it, but it didn't touch the transfer. I was really shocked at that. Because it is ink, I thought it would fade, but it didn't. So I was really impressed with that. And as far as caring for it, we don't recommend dry cleaning, of course, but if you wash it, if you follow the same instructions that you do for like regular heat transfer vinyl shirts, they will by far way outlast that. Typically, we recommend that you hang to dry anything with a heat pressed item on it, but they can be dried in tumble dry, low heat. We typically say turn it inside out, wash it in cold water, no additives and color catchers and those kind of things. Turning it inside out keeps other things like zippers from rubbing against it in the wash and doing damage to it. But for the most part, they're you don't have to worry too much about them. They're very durable and they hold up very well in the wash. Now in the next video, we'll get into some specifics about file types and artwork and art quality, and then we'll be doing some other videos about how to look for those things, how to work on your designs and have your images ready, and how to use those to upload and order transfers from our website. So if you have any questions or comments, post them down below the video.